What's up, dummies? Today we're about to react to the most disturbing planets ever found. Look at this one, bro. LHS-11. Is that an eyeball planet? What the? We're gonna learn about some crazy planets that I've never even heard of. Let's go. Try not to get scared. Let's go.
This is a rocky world about the
here's
same
the first
size
one.
as Earth, and scientists recently noticed something very unusual about it. The
This thing's called YZ Ceti B. Who named this planet that? Okay, let's
planet is sending out a strong and repeating radio signal, which is seen as a glowing umbilical cord connecting it to its star.
Wait, what? This planet has an umbilical cord? A glowing umbilical cord? Like the umbilical cord that you have when you get born and they chop it off? What?
Happens because YZ Ceti B has an extremely powerful magnetic field. It's so strong that it actually crashes into the magnetic energy of its own star. As the planet travels along its path, it pushes right through the electrically charged gas of the star. WASP 121b.
Okay, here's the next one.
This is a giant gas planet, slightly larger than Jupiter, but it is trapped in a nightmarish situation. The most disturbing part of this world is its weather. The extreme temperature difference between the hot and cold sides creates unbelievably violent winds that blow at tens of thousands of miles per hour.
Wind that's 10,000 miles per hour? Bro, let me check how windy it is right now, because where I'm at, it's super windy. Look at this, bro. It's windy right now, but it says that the wind is 10 miles per hour. This planet has 20,000 miles per hour.
These fierce winds scoop up the metal gases from the day side, including iron and the exact same materials that make up rubies and sapphires, and violently blow them over to the cooler night side. When these metal gases reach the dark side, they cool down and form thick clouds. This means that in the pitch blackness of the planet's night, there are massive and chaotic storms where it literally rains droplets of liquid rubies and sapphires.
Bro, what? It rains ruby and sapphire? Like gems, bro? I would like to go to that planet and just catch all of it and then bring it back to Earth and sell it and then become rich.
To make this strange place even more surreal, scientists discovered that the water high up in the planet's sky actually glows. In the upper atmosphere,
they have water in the sky on this planet? Dude, this is a disturbing planet. What the? Water in the sky?
The heat is so extreme that tiny particles of water vapor become supercharged with energy. Instead of just blocking light, these boiling hot water molecules release their own energy as infrared light. We cannot see this type of light with our own eyes, but to powerful space telescopes, the water looks like it is brightly glowing, almost like fireworks.
What? This planet has
Lighting up the
fireworks?
sky. Gliese 870.
All right, here's the next one. This one's called Gliese 876. Is this one like exploding? Is this an exploding planet? Oh, the next one is the eyeball. Look, okay, we're about to lock in. Let's go.
This planet is often called the endless volcano, and if you stood on the surface of this planet, the ground beneath your feet would never stop shaking. This world is a rocky planet that is larger than Earth.
Wait, this is a endless volcano planet? What? Imagine if people lived here, bro. You're just always getting volcano splash.
It circles very close to a small star. The real nightmare for this planet comes from a combination of gravity and its neighbors. It is trapped in a massive pulling contest in space. On one side, it is being pulled tightly by its own sun. On the other side, it is being yanked backward by giant gas planets.
What type of planet is that? It looks like a green apple candy, caramel apple candy, bro.
In the same solar system. This constant push and pull physically stretches and squishes the entire planet like a giant rubber ball. Because the hard rocky surface of the planet is constantly being bent and broken by this extreme pulling, the inside is kept completely melted. The result is a world of non-stop and massive earthquakes. It also causes giant volcanoes to erupt all over the planet, constantly flooding the ground with hot melted rock under a dark red sky. LHS 1140.
Here's the one that I wanted to see. LHS 1140b. It looks like a freaking eyeball.
This is arguably one of the most disturbing eyeball planets. This is a rocky planet larger than Earth that circles a quiet and small red star, but it is almost completely frozen solid. One side of the planet always faces the star, while the other is permanently turned toward the rest of space. Because of this, the dark side is a massive shield of ice. However, right in the dead center of the side, facing the star, is the exact spot where the heat is the strongest.
Wow, so the sun just blows the heat into the eye. Look at this.
The side, facing the star, is the exact.
So that's why it looks like an eyeball, because the sun is just spraying. Let's learn more, bro.
Strongest. In this one specific area, the ice melts into a giant ocean of water that is over 2,000 miles wide. If you looked at this planet from space, it would literally look like a giant eyeball staring without blinking at its sun. The dark center of the eye is the deep ocean, and the white part of the eye is the endless frozen.
Bro, so it's just frozen ice and then a big water
wasteland. What? J1407b.
What? Look at this planet, bro. What? It's the tiniest planet ever, but it's got a bunch of rings. Who named it? J14? Okay, I gotta learn about this.
This planet can be renamed as Super Saturn, or the one with sky-devouring rings. That's because its rings are actually 200 times larger than the rings around our Saturn. They stretch out over 50 million miles wide. To help you understand how big that is, imagine if you replaced our Saturn with J1407b. Its rings would take up a huge part of Earth's sky. The most disturbing thing about this planet is what happens when it moves in front of its own sun. The rings are so incredibly large and thick that they block out almost all the light from the star. If you were on a moon circling this giant object, the rings would create an eclipse that blocks the sun for 56 days.
Wow, that would look cool with the rings blocking the sun, but it would block it for 56 days? Can you imagine having no sunlight for 2 months straight? It's just blackness?
Bro, you would be stuck in total freezing darkness for nearly 2 months, simply because the giant rings got in the way of the light.
Wow.
HD 189733b.
Ooh, that one looks cool. How could this be disturbing? This one looks dope. It looks like a freaking gumball. Like I'm a jawbreaker, dude.
If you were to see this planet from space, it might look like a beautiful deep blue marble, very similar to—
I just said that!
However, that's completely deceptive. This planet is a giant gas world, slightly larger than Jupiter, and the beautiful blue color does not come from water, but from an atmosphere filled with silicate, which is the same material used to make glass. In the extreme heat, this material melts into drops of liquid glass. The planet also has winds that blow up to 5,400 miles per hour. This means that instead of gentle water rain, the planet experiences fierce storms where molten glass rains sideways at incredible speeds.
Bro, molten glass is raining at incredible speeds. Glass? Glass that is molten, which means like hot glass? Ow!
Make matters worse, scientists recently used the James Webb Space Telescope to look closely at the planet's thick atmosphere and found a chemical called hydrogen sulfide. This is the exact same chemical that gives rotten eggs their terrible smell. This means that not only is the planet extremely hot with dangerous sideways glass storms, but the entire world also reeks of rotten eggs. As if that wasn't enough, the planet orbits incredibly close to its sun, so the temperature on the bright side of the planet reaches around 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit.
Damn, bro. So this cool looking planet smells like rotten eggs and it has molten glass? Dude, now this is what I was expecting when I clicked on this disturbing planets video. What is this planet? Why does it have 2 bigger planets outside of it? What?
This planet's star has one of the most peculiar and disturbing elements ever. It basically pulses like a heart. It physically swells up and then shrinks down very quickly. Because of this, its heat and brightness change over the course of just a few hours. This planet is trapped extremely close to this pulsing star, and because the star is constantly changing size, the planet goes through a particular cycle. The atmosphere is blasted with extreme heat and then slightly less heat over and over again. This creates a messy and unstable sky. It also causes a strange weather pattern called a temperature inversion. Normally, air gets colder as you go higher up, but with a temperature inversion, the air actually gets hotter the higher you go into the sky. At the top of the sky on WASP 33b, the temperature reaches over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Bro, what?
Proxima Centauri b.
Okay, what is that?
This planet is incredibly famous because it is the closest exoplanet to our own solar system, sitting just over 4 light years away.
Wow.
For a long time, people hoped it might be a second Earth because it is a rocky world that sits right in the habitable zone of its sun. However, the reality of this planet turned out to be completely terrifying. It orbits a tiny red dwarf star that is unbelievably violent. Unlike our relatively calm sun, this little star constantly erupts with massive bursts of energy called stellar flares. These flares are hundreds of times more powerful than anything our sun produces. These violent explosions happen almost daily, blasting the planet with extreme levels of deadly radiation like X-rays and ultraviolet light. During one recorded event, a massive flare actually made the star 14,000 times brighter in just a few seconds. Scientists believe that over billions of years, this constant bombardment of extreme energy has likely completely boiled away any oceans and violently stripped off the planet's entire atmosphere.
Wow.
HD 106906b.
Okay, what did he just say, bro? Let me replay that.
HD 106906b.
HD 691210109. What's wrong with these people? This looks like a cool planet. Why would they name it HD 61010619016?
This world is a giant gas planet that is about 11 times heavier than Jupiter, but its size
11 times heavier than Jupiter
is not what makes it disturbing. It's sometimes called the exiled planet, and that's because the unsettling part about this planet is its extremely lonely and unusual location. It orbits a pair of twin stars, but it sits incredibly far away from them. To understand how far, imagine the distance between the Earth and our sun. This planet is over 700 times further away from its stars than we are from our sun.
Bro, what? That planet is 700 times farther away from their suns than we are.
putting it way out in the freezing, dark edges of its system.
Dude, that's probably the coldest planet ever.
According to the normal rules of how planets are made, HD 106906b should not even exist where it is. Planets usually form from a thick, swirling disk of dust and gas that surrounds a young star. But out in the deep space where this planet lives, there was never enough material to build a planet that huge. Because of this, scientists believe that this giant planet actually formed much closer to the warmth of its twin stars. However, the intense gravity of those stars eventually
Pushed
acted
it
like a
away?
slingshot and violently kicked the planet
Ah.
outward. It was nearly thrown completely out of the star system to become a rogue planet. Instead of escaping, it's likely that another random star happened to pass by, and its gravity pushed the runaway planet just enough to lock it into an extreme, tilted orbit. It now takes 15,000 years just
Look
to
at
go
how
around its suns once.
Bro, 15,000 years to go around the sun once. Look at those suns, bro. That looks like somebody's watching. WASP 12b. Why do they always name these planets WASP? Do they have like a bunch of wasps on those planets?
The scenery on WASP 12b is one of the scariest ever. Even though light hits this planet, almost none of it comes back. That's because WASP 12b is so dark that it reflects at most about 6% of the light that reaches it. However, the reason
That's the
behind it is
blackest
what
planet
makes
ever.
the planet really disturbing. WASP 12b is a gas giant nearly twice the size of Jupiter and about 40% more massive, yet it orbits its star in just a little over one Earth day. It is unbelievably
Bro, every single day it goes around its star? That means you would be 100 years old in 100 days.
close to it, roughly 1/43 of the Earth-Sun distance. Because of this, the planet is tidally locked, meaning one side is stuck in permanent daylight while the other never sees the star. On the day side, temperatures rise to around 4,700 degrees Fahrenheit. At this heat,
Imagine cooking a pizza at 400, 470,000, whatever he said. Because most of the time, people cook pizzas at like 400. Imagine doing it at 4,000.
normal
Oh my
clouds
God, your pizza
cannot
would be
form
done
at
like
all,
that.
and materials that might usually
No, that would be cool. Let's go to those planets, throw a pizza, and then grab it back, and you'll get it.
like light don't
cooked
survive in a
perfectly.
stable form. So hot rugs of gas basement showed his years left, which in a closer is good on planet is incredible. You would never experience twixilar, however, of Methuselah sky. TOI exposed kind on this planet at all.
Next one.
TOI 849b.
What? TOI 849b. What is this one? It looks like the moon. Oh my God, look at these two planets. We're gonna see those later. Oh, those look cool.
TOI 849b is the naked skeleton of a planet. It's a candidate Chthonian planet, meaning it may be the exposed core of a gas giant, a world that once had a thick envelope of hydrogen and helium, and then lost most of it, leaving the skeletal remains behind. However,
So this is a skeleton of a planet.
what makes this planet even stranger is its anomaly. A planet this massive should normally grab huge amounts of gas while it forms, because its gravity is strong enough to pull in hydrogen and helium from the material around a young star. That is the usual path toward becoming a gas giant. This planet does not look like it followed that path, or it did, and then something brutal happened. The Discovery
Whoa.
team framed two main possibilities. Either it is the remnant of a Jupiter-like planet that lost almost all of its atmosphere,
Yeah,
or
I
it is
think
a
that's
failed
what happened because it actually kind of looks like a skeleton.
TOI 1853b.
Wait, what? TOI 185? Why does that look like metal, bro? That's actually a planet?
We could call TOI 1853 the Iron Bullet. This planet is about the same size as Neptune, but it is much more solid and heavy than Earth. This means it is
Bro.
composed almost entirely of heavy metals, and the reason for
What?
this is particularly interesting. Scientists believe this planet survived a massive crash in space. It probably started as a normal planet. Then, it was hit by another giant object moving at incredibly high speeds. The crash was so violent that the lighter parts of the planet, like the water, the rocky surface, and the gas, were literally splashed
Right.
off into space. What is left behind is just a bare metal ball. If you tried to walk on its surface, it would feel like being crushed by a giant invisible hand. Due to its mass, the gravity is much stronger than Earth.
Bro, this is a metal ball, and because it's a bunch of metal, the ball is super strong. It's a strong ball.
Beta Pictoris b.
What is Beta Pictoris b? What the? That looks like a freaking, what?
If you stood on this planet, your body weight would trick you. Beta Pictoris b is a huge gas planet that is over 10 times heavier than Jupiter, but
Wow, so I would be like 1,750 pounds.
what makes it unique is that it's spinning at an unbelievable speed. A single day here lasts only 8 hours, and the equator is spinning at over 62,000 miles per hour. Because it is
Damn!
spinning so violently, the outward push from all that speed is physically bending the planet
Bro,
out
so if you're on this planet, you're gonna be like spinning around. Oh
of
my
shape. It is
gosh, I'm
not
never
a
going there.
perfect
All right,
55
here's the
Cancri E. Janssen.
What? 55 Cancri E Jansen. This is one of the creepiest ones we've seen so far. It's a red ball with like a bunch of like hairs coming
This
off
planet is known as a super-Earth, as it's a rocky world like our own planet, but it is much larger and heavier.
Yeah, that looks like countries, bro. Are these countries? Do people live on this?
However, that's roughly where the similarities end. This world orbits so incredibly close to its star that it completes a full year in less than 18 hours.
Bro, 1 year is 18 hours. Bro, you could have a birthday every day.
Because it is so close, the gravity of the star locks the planet in place. So one side always faces the burning star, and the other side always faces the freezing
that is
dark
really
of
weird.
deep space. On the day side, the temperature reaches over 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is so hot that the solid ground is completely melted. Instead of oceans of water, this planet is covered in a massive global
Instead of water, it's lava.
ocean of boiling liquid rock. For a long time, scientists actually thought the inside of the planet might be made mostly of solid diamond. However, new tools like the James Webb Space Telescope have recently shown a more violent scene. Scientists now believe the boiling lava is actually creating a thick, heavy atmosphere of gas that completely covers the world. That's because extreme heat causes the magma ocean to bubble and release gases continuously.
There's a magma ocean, so their ocean is just a bunch of lava, dude. That's crazy.
It is even possible that the melted rock itself evaporates into the sky and rains down as solid stone when the winds blow it over to the cooler night side. It's basically a real-life version of hell-themed levels in video games. Ogle 2005 BLG 390 LB. Video games.
What is that
Ogle
called?
2005 BLG 390 LB.
Ogle 2005 BLG 390 LB. What? Who thought of that? They must have had so many Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, Pop-Tarts that morning, Sugar
This
Rush.
one holds the record as one of the coldest and most empty planets ever found. It orbits a tiny and incredibly dim type of sun called a red dwarf star. However, it sits so far away from its sun that it receives almost no heat whatsoever.
Wow.
Because of this, the temperature on the surface drops to a freezing minus 364 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh, bro, the coldest I've ever felt was like maybe -10, and that was like, bro, -364, you're done. You're cooked like that.
At these extreme temperatures, chemistry as we know it completely stops. If this planet ever had an atmosphere, which is the layer of gases like nitrogen or oxygen that normally surrounds a world, the brutal cold would have caused the very air itself to freeze solid. This frozen
Bro, the air itself is frozen solid. So wait, what? So when you go there, the air, you would actually be able to see the air because it would freeze. So everything would
have then fallen to the ground as a layer of permanent snow. If you were on the surface, you would be surrounded by absolute crushing silence and pitch darkness.
Bro, that's crazy. That is creepy.